Hey there, it's Mike Robbins here again with another video blog message this week. I'm talking a bit about walking in other people's shoes. You know, I've heard that saying many times, and of course, I think it's an important one to try to put ourselves in other people's perspectives. But last week I had a really poignant and powerful experience of this. My wife, Michelle, went away for an entire week. So I was responsible for taking care of my girls. Samantha, who's almost 8, and Rosie, who's 5. And, you know, Michelle's gone away for a few days here and there, and, you know, there's definitely some things here around the house and, you know, with my girls that I do take care of, but I'd never been solely responsible for them for an entire week, and it was quite an interesting experience. I mean, it was definitely fun. It was clearly challenging at times. There was a lot of things that were humbling as I'm asking the girls, where are the hair ties, and what do we do about this, and how does mommy handle that, and, you know, just a lot of things that, as good of a job as Michelle had done setting me up and giving me all the information that I needed, there was just a lot of stuff that, you know, I had never done before and hadn't been responsible for. You know, in addition to breakfasts and making lunches and dropping them off at school and picking them up and doing all the things, there were a couple other interesting aspects of last week. One was it was about as cold as it ever is here in Northern California, which I know some of you watching this from around the U.S. or maybe other parts of the world probably don't feel too bad for us, but it was in like the 20s, you know, in the morning and in the 30s during the day, and it never gets that cold here, so we were, you know, sort of challenged by the weather and having to bundle up. And also, Samantha, my older daughter, is in a girls' choir, and they had 2 performances as well as a couple of dress rehearsals. There was also an event at the school that she needed clothes for, and there was a birthday party. I mean, so it was kind of a big, you know, parenting, caregiving week. And I think among the many things that I learned from the experience, probably the most valuable was just gaining an even deeper and greater appreciation and awareness for my wife, for Michelle, for what she does on a daily basis, for all the things that she takes care of. And, you know, I feel like I have a pretty good sense of that, and I do the best I can to try to acknowledge and appreciate her. But I can definitely say for sure, after this experience I had last week, it's a whole nother level of appreciation and adoration that I have for her. And as I expand that out, it's also an appreciation and adoration I have for all people who are primary caregivers for children, because, man, it is relentless. I mean, incredibly rewarding and fun at times, but challenging and difficult, and, you know, can be monotonous and thankless and all the things that go along with it. And, you know, it also had me think a bit about people who have more than 2 children. People who, like my mother, who are raising kids as single parents. And, you know, it just was a very humbling and very meaningful experience of appreciation for me. And as I thought about it more deeply and more broadly, it's an important thing for us to remember in life, is that if we can put ourselves in other people's shoes, if we can imagine what life is like for them, if we can sit in their chair, we don't always have the opportunity to do that, actually. We don't necessarily get the chance to switch places or take someone's responsibility, if you will. But think about some of the people that you live with, some of the people you work with, some of the people you do business with. How much time and energy do you spend putting yourself in their shoes or imagining what life is like for them? No matter how much it gets explained, until we actually experience it from their side, there's a piece of it that we don't fully understand. But we can absolutely put our attention more consciously, more deliberately on other people's experiences. And when we do that, it can give us a greater appreciation both for them and what they do, but also for ourselves. And the reality of work, the reality of life, the reality of family is that we're working in an interconnected, synergistic system all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not. And the reality is that we can't do the things that we do if other people don't do what they do. I was profoundly aware last week that if my wife Michelle weren't doing the things she were doing to make it work for our girls and for our family and for our home, there's no way that I could be out in the world doing the things that I'm doing, and vice versa. So the mutual appreciation that we have for each other as she came back and we were able to connect about it and really talk about it was a really beautiful thing for us. But think about it for yourself. And take some time, if you can, today, right now, over the next few days, over this holiday season, and see if you can do what you can to put yourself in other people's shoes. Even if you don't totally understand them, even and especially if they're bugging you or getting on your nerves, that's often the most important time to do it. It can be incredibly illuminating, enlightening, And ultimately, it's one of the best practices for appreciation that we can experience. Thanks for watching. I got some really good and interesting feedback from the first video blog that I did, and I'm excited to be doing this one again. Just so you know, my plan is to continue to do video messages like this, but I'm not going to stop writing and blogging and doing my audio podcasts as well. I'm going to kind of mix and match with different things. So that's sort of my plan, but I'm definitely embracing the message from last week and doing what works for me, because this is a lot more fun and easy than writing for me, so I'll be doing quite a bit of this moving forward. But have a great holiday season and a happy new year, and I look forward to reconnecting with you in 2014.